Hey, everybody, and welcome in. It's the Poor Man Fantasy Football League podcast. We're the fantasy football show that gives you a peek inside the life and times of our Dynasty League. I'm your host, Mike, and with me, as always, is my friend Andrew. It is Wednesday night, November 13th, not an unlucky day. We are looking at the week 10, looking into week 11. Let's get into it. Andrew, how you doing?
I'm doing good. And yourself?
I'm getting nervous. I'm feeling anxious. Our playoffs are getting closer. I'm on the outside looking in. I need to make a decision. Am I in or am I out? I've been looking at what needs to happen for me to get in. And it's going to be tough. I'm going to need some help from my fellow league mates to bring down some of these other guys and slow their record progression. So I can't just win out to get in. I have to win 4 out of 5 matches to give myself the highest chance. And that will allow for a couple losses to everybody else. But it is possible.
Do you play them? Have you
I
gone
do. Yes, we will get into that. We will dissect that when we get down and dirty towards the league talk. But for now, let's talk otherworldly stuff for a moment. Is there anything else going on in the world you want to chat about?
with regards to
Is there anything? Is there a new
Donald
show?
Trump getting the?
No, we're not touching that one. We're not touching that one. Nope, we're not touching that. There's nothing new. There's a new Star Wars trilogy coming out that was announced. Did you hear this? Don't know if it's going to be related to the original Skywalker series or if it's going to be an entirely new cast of characters in a different time period. Who knows?
I haven't heard about that. Like, I haven't heard any details on this stuff.
Me neither. I know nothing. As my other fellow Star Wars cohort, I thought maybe you might have picked up on something.
No, I didn't. I haven't had time to delve into any of it. Things around the Pradlac home has been a little bit crazy the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
Like I told you, I got into a car accident.
You did, yep.
So trying to resolve all that kind of stuff.
Are you is it going well? Who's giving you the hassles?
Well, my insurance agent not getting back to me. Because I was rear-ended, right? It's not my fault.
Correct?
But they're like the place that wants to fix the car is like, well, you still got to pay the deductible. I'm like, yeah, no, not my fault. I'm not paying any deductible. And my insurance, the broker hasn't gotten back to me since the middle of last week. I mean, I think she was off, but I haven't
Lovely
heard
that they
anything.
don't have anybody managing the case. Now, I
Yeah.
believe you do have to pay your deductible, claim it on your insurance, and then your insurance chases down the other person.
The way she originally explained it to me was she was going to their insurance to make sure their insurance is valid.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they have valid insurance in Canada, they have to step up and pay the deductible.
Well, that's how it should be, right?
Yes.
You're not at fault. You should be like, don't make my life difficult. Get my stuff fixed.
Yeah.
All right.
And there's that. I guess the other big thing, and I don't know, your wife probably told you, because I'm sure my wife told your wife that I got a new job.
No, I did not hear this story.
Yeah. I'm leaving PFP.
Okay, dude, you got to give me some details here. What happened?
Yeah, I'm done there next Wednesday, and I'm moving on to a company called Garda World.
I actually know a guy over there. We went golfing a couple years ago. They're head of security something. I don't remember his name. Yeah, it was part of a foursome.
A huge international. They're a huge international company.
Wow. Okay.
And like they bought out Liberty Security.
Yeah.
About a year ago.
Thank heavens, because those commercials were terrible. Wait, no, that was Alarm Force. Sorry, I was thinking Alarm Force had terrible commercials, not Liberty.
Yes. But like I know a lot of people that were at Liberty because they were part of Voxcom, the company that I worked for 20 years for. So I know a lot of them. I mean, they put out that they were looking for a commercial operations manager. So went over, talked to them, and yeah,
Oh, well, congratulations, man.
thank you.
How did your previous employer take it?
It's yeah, he took it. They took it the way I think I expected.
Which was?
They're not real. I've had very little communication since I put in my notice. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Now, did you talk to them before you just made the decision to jump ship? Or did you just like, no, I'm done. Like, I'm out.
I just put in my notice and I'm out. And that's one of the things where there was absolutely no why, what's going on type thing. So,
Yeah. Okay.
but they have a proven track record of that where there's no loyalty.
It's interesting how small to medium family run businesses kind of run that way. Unless you're on the like their little clique on the inside where you're like chummy with the internal family, sometimes it's hard to get things done or what you want or what you need. And then they feel hurt and jaded and blindsided when you
Yeah,
decide to leave them. It's like, well,
yeah, because they think
you didn't take
everything's
care of me.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. And one of the big things there's a tall tale, well, a tale sign, as it were, today that happened that they're going to struggle without me. And not to sound arrogant or what have you, but I got called to help with something that's very simple, but I'm the only one in the company that knows how to do it. And so it was basically setting up an app for somebody to use some software on their work phone,
Okay.
but nobody else knows how to do it but me. And the owner was the one asking me to help the person out, but he didn't even stay on the phone to listen, to be able to get the knowledge on how to do it,
I see.
to be able to
Just
give
fix this
anybody
problem and
else.
go away.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Bigger and better things anyway, right?
yeah. So which means we're not going to be neighbors anymore. So where's your new shop? Where you working at? Downtown?
It's just no. It's they're over. The office is on just on Calgary Trail. Calgary Trail and like 57th Ave or
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah. All right.
Right by that big white hotel. I think it's the Radisson across the street from there.
I'm familiar. I'm familiar. Well, there's better places to eat in that area.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
there's a
much better
Firehouse
selection.
Subs right across the street.
Yeah, have you been there? Is it good?
No, no, I haven't. That's one of the ones I want to try.
Yeah, they're popping up everywhere. Those firehouse
Yeah.
subs.
There's going to be one right by our house here next year.
I'm curious. I am curious. I do want to try it to see what it's like. I've really been jonesing for a Jersey Mike though.
Me too.
Since we went and had
Yes.
that with our football trip, I've been just like I see those commercials with Danny DeVito, and I was like, man, that was a good sub. I want one.
Yes. Yes. When we went down to Montana,
Mm-hmm.
it was everybody else in the family loves Jimmy John's. So I'm like, okay. Jimmy John's is good though too. If you ever get down to the States and you get an opportunity to hit a Jimmy John's,
Jimmy John's. It's
you're gonna
good.
get it too.
Okay.
It's up there with Jersey Mike's, but Jersey Mike's was just a little bit better. Like it's way more meat on it.
All right. Yeah. Well,
So
I haven't had Jimmy John's, but I do like the sub sandwiches. Okay. Well, I think we deviated enough that we can get back
yeah,
into some football talk. I don't think there's anything significant or relevant news wise within the football world.
no,
JJ McCarthy had a second surgery on his knee to help reduce some of the swelling from his first surgery. I hope that's not a big deal. The Raiders flip flopped between quarterbacks within 24 hours. They announced that they were going to have Desmond Ritter as the starter and then got nervous and said, nope, we changed our mind. It's going to be Gardner Minshew. And it's like, that does not spell good things for the Raiders. If
no,
you were willing to roll out Desmond Ritter and then panicked,
yeah.
Anthony Richardson is back as the starting quarterback for Indianapolis. They recognize their season is over and they want to see what they've got in this kid, if they need to draft somebody or not.
I think the biggest news thing that I heard was that Dallas is looking to tank. They want the number 1 pick.
Well,
and they've
They've got
already
a long
kind of
they've got
been,
a long road to get it, man. They are not in contention for the first overall pick.
and then the other thing that I heard was that they're also looking to trade up to get a second first round pick because
You
they want two specific. They want
they want the what is it?
Shakur
Sherdon
Sanders.
Sanders and that Hunter, Travis Hunter.
Yeah, those are the two guys that they want.
Yeah. I saw that. Who was it? Was it you or was it one of the other guys in our group chat that posted that really early mock draft?
That was me.
That was you? Yeah. I thought it was interesting. I liked the approach. I could see the logic behind it if things were to finish that way, but wow.
Well, I think that's why they're not. They're what the rumor is they're gonna dump Prescott, and that Jerry Jones is personally going to eat the contract.
But the contract still hits the team.
If he pays it out, I don't think it does. It's like you giving the contract to another team. Hey, you
All
take the
right.
player, you take the contract, but I'll pay you for it.
Yeah, but that still hits their books. One way or
No, no,
another, the contract comes due in one of the years. So whatever the remaining amount is of his contract, even if you paid it out all today, that means all of your contract, like your debt burden, your ratios, whatever, hit this year, like right now. And then you have
for
no
this
cap.
year, yeah.
Yeah.
For next year,
So you'd have to pay it out at the end of this year
that's just
before
the way
the
it was
new
explained
before the new year,
online.
league year started. So it wouldn't accrue for the following year.
I don't know. That's just the way they
That's
explained it
curious.
online. Was that Jerry
Obviously,
Jones may personally pay out the contract,
now that's a story worth following.
so that the team doesn't get hit, so that they can go after. Because who wants Dak Prescott with that contract? Nobody.
Well, to be honest with you, I think they do.
So you
Yes,
would
Jerry
pay
Jones, the owner
40
and general
something
manager of the
million.
Dallas Cowboys, paid Dak Prescott a record-breaking $240 million contract extension in 2023. Signing bonus, okay. Yeah, okay. So let's just say he decides that like move on from Dak Prescott. They're gonna go. Somebody will pick up Dak Prescott because one, Dak Prescott isn't a crappy quarterback. Of all the quarterbacks that currently have massive contracts like Dak, Dak has been better.
Yes. Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, Daniel Jones, heck,
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun. Well, yeah, that's not even. You can't mention that. Derek Carr. There's just so many guys that I think that Dak is better than. I don't think he's elite. I don't think he's up there with the Josh Allen, Lamar, Joe Burrow
No, but
type of group.
it's
But
one of the things that's starting to get scary is he's starting to become an injury bug. I think 2 of the last 3 seasons he hasn't finished the year.
not many quarterbacks have made it a full year.
No,
And
but he's missing
last year, Dak
significant.
Prescott he was top 3.
Yeah, but he played the whole year last year. The year before he didn't, and he missed a good chunk of the year. This year he's missing a good chunk of the year because he's done for the year.
Yeah, well, a tear ligament in your legs will do that to you.
Yeah, so it's something. Joe Burrow is starting to get in the same boat, right? Like,
Get hit wrong one way.
can you play? Can you play more than 1 year without missing half the season? Tua, same thing.
Wow.
That guy just doesn't get it either. Diving off that interception, diving in front of the guy, gets kicked in the head.
Which is silly.
Yeah, like, dude, you just came off of missing 3 weeks for a concussion.
Okay.
Anyway,
I think regardless of the contract situation, somebody would pick up Dak in a heartbeat. He would never make it through waivers unless it was for a specific reason where he's free and clear and then teams can sign them to their own deal. But I think somebody would be desperate enough. Maybe not now that he has the injury and is going to be gone for at least a year.
yeah. Well, you're right. I think a team like if they could work out a deal for the Dallas or Jerry Jones eats a good chunk of the contract, somewhere like Jacksonville, who's tired of Lawrence, right? Or
Cleveland, I could see
New
Cleveland moving
York,
on, right?
Cleveland,
The Jets, the Giants, teams that have been struggling at the
yeah.
quarterback position could definitely be jumping into that, saying, "Hey, man,
The
like
Colts right now,
the
not sure
Colts,
what their future is with quarterbacks, right? Like,
Carolina."
there's lots of teams. You're right. There are lots of teams out there, but I think the injuries and if they can't get a deal done with not taking on so much of a burden of the contract,
Yeah.
it could be a problem.
Well, the Rams traded the Lions, Jared Goff, and 2 firsts to get Matt Stafford and to take on Jared Goff's contract.
Yeah.
It's quite possible that Jerry Jones could be looking for a similar-esque type deal where, hey, you know what? You give me this, I will give you this and this in exchange, right? I will give you
Yeah.
money, I will buy the draft picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you take the guy on the contract, and you're not losing the money because you can just pay the contract with the money I'm giving you.
Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Okay, so there's a lot of teams that are going to be quarterback needy. Dak Prescott could go to a variety of them.
Yep. Oh, for sure. And
All
you're
right.
right. He's not a garbage quarterback.
Mm-mm.
And I think in the right situation, he could get back to
It could,
top five guy in the. He's just got to be able to be be protected. That's
which
the
is
key.
saying a lot for a lot of these quarterbacks and bad lines.
Yep. Oh,
All right,
exactly.
let's talk about some. Let's get some league stuff done by going to the sleeper report. Sleeper report. Sleeper report. Now, this is where we're going to talk a little bit about how our last week, how our league performed. First off, we're going to talk about best manager. That's me. I was the best manager. I said
Congrats.
100% of my roster correct. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Oh, it felt good. It felt good to get back into the win column. And I felt really good knowing full well that another guy who's going to be on this list had the Jamar Chase and Lamar Jackson scored nearly 100 points, or was it 105 points on Thursday night?
Yes.
And I nearly caught him in points
And he blew me up in another league
with the same
because
combo.
he had those two guys and one other guy
Oh,
and had like brutal,
that is
brutal.
brutal. That is, for those of you that felt that wrath, I apologize. I did not see it happen to me anywhere. In one league, I do have Jamar Chase, so I did give it a little. So I apologize for those that were on the receiving end of that. That is tough.
It happens.
It does. The worst manager of the week was Chervin at 71%, unfortunately. Yeah.
I
What
dodged
is
that bullet again.
you did. So Chervin, 71, not so good. Narrowest victory. Now, this was really close going into Monday night. Didn't pan out the way we were expecting, but still close matchup. Juan versus Slick. Juan gets the victory 111 to 101 with a 9.86 point differential. Juan is on a bit of a hot streak. And
Yes.
thank you, Juan. I'm giving you praise right now because you kept Slick within striking distance for you and I for that last playoff spot. Here we are. Now, highest score of the week. This is the guy who dominated our league. Happens to be Gabriel, aka Little Baby Sheep Man, with 160.10 points, with Jamar Chase and Lamar Jackson. Well done.
Yeah.
And the lowest scorer of the week, a first-time offender this year, Poor Man of the Week goes to none other than Chervin with 64.34 points. And for that, my friend, you get the sploosh.
And what really sucks about me dodging that bullet 2 weeks in a row, there's two guys I could have beat to have given me two more wins. Why couldn't I have gone up against them? That would have given me two extra wins, which would
Yes.
have taken me out of the basement, or would have put me closer to the basement.
Unfortunately, you're still got a battle for the basement.
Yeah, I don't think I'm getting out of it. So
It's possible. Let's talk about that. There was one trade. Josh, aka the Multi Beast, made a trade with Juan, aka Juan Tooth Tree, Keaton Mitchell, and Gus Edwards. They swapped backups. Something?
former the former Raven.
Yes, for a current Raven. No waivers of note. These were all trash pickups. I'm not even going to waste my time on there because they were not as dirty. As gross. Davis Allen, tight end for the Rams. Marquez Vandell Scantling, wide receiver for New Orleans. Will Disley, tight end for the Chargers. Will Shipley, running back for Philadelphia. And Mac Hollins. Woo woo. Picking up some trash. Yeah. Hey, but if you got fab and you got to spend it, no sense hoarding it, right?
Yeah,
All right. Now, this is where things are getting interesting. Here's our current league lineup. Sitting at top of the food chain is no stranger to the top of the food chain. Marvin, he's sitting at 8-2, having a good year. Looking good with 5 games remaining going into the playoffs. Second, Little Baby Sheep Man, sitting at 7-3. Number 3 is Josh, aka the Multi Beast. He's sitting at 7-3. And then Slick, sitting in 4th at 6-4. Now, not far behind, I'm at 5-5, and then Juan is tied with me in 6th spot at 5-5. Bryce, 4-6, then Donnie, 4-6, Chervin, 3-7, and then you, Andrew, 1-9. So mathematically speaking, you and Chervin are removed from playoff contention. Donnie and Bryce at 4-6 are not mathematically removed, just mathematically improbable that they would win out the 5 remaining games of the year to go to 9-6 and have a shot at the last playoff spot. For them to do so, Slick would have to lose a minimum of 3 games for that to happen. If he were to lose 4 of the next 5, if he lost, he'd have to lose 2. If he lost 3, then yes, there'd be a very good chance. However, he has an okay schedule rest of season, and that's what we're going to look at here in a second.
Yeah, your chart doesn't make. There's a couple of errors on your chart.
Okay, so here's how it works. What I've done is I've made a list of guys that could potentially make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it's myself, Josh, Slick, Gabriel, aka Little Baby Sheep Man, Juan, and then Marvin. Now I'm sitting at 5-5. Josh is sitting at 7-3. Slick is sitting at 6-4. Gabe is sitting at 7-3. Juan is sitting at 5-5, and Marvin is finishing at 8-2. So here's how it works. If I play Josh this week, which is a very important matchup, if I beat Josh, my odds of reaching the playoffs go up. Josh's goes down a little bit. Okay. You kind of see that, Mike and Josh? So if I say, hey, I won, I'm going to fill in this thing and I'm going to say it's green. Right? He got a loss. So he's going to go red. So that means my sitting here, I would be 6-5. He'd be 7-3. Puts us a lot closer together. So if you were to map this out to the very end, to the end of week 15, I play Josh, then Gabriel, then Donnie, then Marvin, then Bryce.
Yes, but okay, so where I said you made a mistake, Juan cannot play Juan. Marvin cannot play Marvin.
There we go.
You just had those 2 reversed.
So in week 15, there are some ridiculously important matchups the week before the playoffs that could come down to the deciding factor of who is in and who is out. It is, one, exciting, but extremely anxious for a guy like myself. So in week 15 for me, I've faced Bryce. Bryce right now is under 500. I'm projected to win that matchup, but anything can happen when it comes to fantasy football. But I'm going to chalk that one up as a win. Josh and Slick, who could be on the bubble if things break my way, but they will be battling each other in week 15, and possibly one of them could be eliminating the other come week 15. Extremely pivotal matchup. Then we've got Gabriel facing Donnie. I'm confident that Donnie is going to show up at some point during this season and play upset, just like he did to me last year where he knocked me out of the playoffs. That 1 week, they're like, wait a second, it's Donnie. Donnie's team's decimated. I don't know how he's getting these wins, and my team decides to not play. So Donnie could upset Gabriel, who is currently, he could be on that bubble as well, right? Like mathematically. And then Juan plays Marvin. Marvin is sitting pretty. I think out of the remaining 5 weeks, Marvin just needs 2 wins, and he should mathematically make the playoffs. Statistically speaking, he just needs 2 wins out of the next 5, and he should be good. His matchups are Chervin, the number 9 team.
Yeah.
Donnie, who's the number
8.
The number 8 team. Bryce, who's the number 7 team, Gabriel, who's currently 2, sorry, and then Juan, who's fighting for a playoff spot. So I'm fairly confident if I had to put money on it, Gabriel's making the playoffs this year.
Yeah. He's got the easiest
Gabriel,
path.
he does. Marvin might be the gatekeeper for Juan, though. Juan might have a really good, look, he faces Bryce, a team that's currently losing. Yourself, it's a losing record. Chervin, that's a losing record. Then me, who's trying to get into the playoffs. So that should be a tough matchup, week 14. And then week 15, the do or die week that could very well determine whether he makes the playoffs or not could be that matchup against Marvin. So very exciting matchups coming up for us. Gabriel, he's got a 50-50 road. He's got you, Andrew, this week, then me, then Slick, then Juan. So 3 guys that are fighting for playoff spots, and then Donnie in week 5. So you got 3 tough matchups for sure. So those 6 guys, 5 of us are really fighting for those playoff spots. Gabriel and Josh are in the best situation because they're at 7-3. They got a 2-game advantage. So odds are in their favor.
So you guys are on the bubble.
We're on the bubble.
You guys that are fighting.
And we learned today that there is no trade deadline.
Well, he's trying to put it in.
Yeah, we checked it out, and it said no trade deadline because I thought it was like week 13, maybe week 14. So looking at the league rules, it currently says Johnny did trade it up. Okay, so the week 14, which means at the end of week 14 is the last trade you're allowed to make, going into week 15, which will be our last regular season game.
Yep.
Which we talked a little offline about this. It's nice for those teams that want to make a trade, but it's difficult for teams that say are on the bubble that are trying to get it done. I would prefer an earlier trade deadline. Like in No Fun League, our trade deadline is this week, week 11, which means you have to spend now. You have to commit to try and get that last playoff spot before knowing you've got that last playoff spot before you spend. Because to me, what it does is it drives teams saying, hey, Andrew, you're in the very last spot. I am in the playoffs. I've now locked it in. I got the win. So I am for sure in the playoffs. I'm coming to you. I'm going to buy up some of your assets and send you off. When I really should have done that a few weeks before. I like that premise, but that's something that we'll have to take, I think, to the off season and see what we can get done within the league and discuss it. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but that's just kind of like how I view it. I'd like to see the trade deadline earlier. Yeah. All right. What else we got going on here? I'm very optimistic, though, but anxiously nervous, if that makes any sense. And I hope it does, because I hope a couple of you guys are also in the same boat as me when it comes to this moment. Something else that I do want to chat about is how different this year is from the last couple. The last couple of years, our league has been crazy tight, crazy close, where unless you were like teams 8, 9, or 10, or 9 and 10, you had a legitimate shot of making the playoffs. So I want to give a shout out to Marvin sitting at 8-2, and then Gabriel and Josh sitting at 7-3, sitting in 3. You guys have had a great season so far, and you've built some good teams. It's going to be fun to face you, particularly you, Josh, this week, Gabriel next week. May fortune favor the bold. All right, now we're going to move on to our weekly matchups. So here's how things worked out. In matchup 1, Mike versus Andrew, I did come out victorious. In matchup 2, Slick versus Juan came out victorious. In matchup 3, Donnie beat Chervin. In matchup 4, Little Baby Sheepman crushed Bryce. We all picked Bryce, so nobody got any points there. And then matchup 5, Marvin beat Josh. Unfortunately, I did pick Josh to win, so I didn't get any points. I had a really rough week. I went 1-4. Andrew, you went 2-3. Donnie went 4-1. And then Gabriel went 3-2. So right now, I'm at 29-21. Andrew, you're at 31-19. Donnie, you're at 30-20. Josh is still sitting at 31-14. He didn't even place a this week. He didn't even get his picks in, and he's still sitting in the top spot. But at least now he's got to share it with somebody. He's got to share it with Gabriel, who's also sitting at 31-14. So some good stuff going on there, guys. Well done making your selections and picking the winners.
Congrats.
Now it's time to pick this week's winners. Now, Gabriel sent me his details. Donnie got me his. Still nothing from Josh and Marvin. Not sure if they'll get their stuff in on time, but that's okay. Let's have it. There we go. So this week's matchup, myself versus Josh. I'm projected 118-102. I'm confident in my team. I think I'm feeling good, and here's why. Russell Wilson against Baltimore. For some reason, Mike Tomlin has got those Pittsburgh Steelers just humming along, and I like what's going on here. My options at quarterback right now are Dak Prescott, who's about to be put on IR, Kyler Murray, who's on bye week, Jared Goff, who just threw 5 interceptions but still won the game, Jameis Winston, Joe Flacco, who just got benched for Anthony Richardson. I'm going Russell Wilson. I'm also going to keep going with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. We're playing against Jacksonville, who's going to roll out with Mac Jones again. I fully expect that to be a slaughter fest where they're going to run the ball for the majority of the game. Yeah, just allow me to score some points. I'm going with Cortland Sutton as one of my wide receivers. He's actually been getting some legitimate targets from Bo Nix. He even caught a touchdown last week against Kansas City, of all teams that they nearly beat, except for that blocked field goal. Yeah, A.J. Brown versus Washington. I'm going to rock that one out. This week, due to injury and bye weeks, I'm going to go with T.J. Hawkinson as my tight end, and I like what's going on here. I like Hawk, and he's getting some real usage there. Christian McCaffrey's back. Oh, yeah, baby, waited long enough. He's here.
Didn't practice today.
It's okay. He doesn't need to practice. He's still awesome. He was limited. Let's see. It will be limited practice participant Wednesday, blah, blah, blah. In this season debut this past Sunday at Tampa Bay, McCaffrey couldn't get much going on the ground. 13 carries, 39 yards, but made up for it in the passing game, which is great. Then I got Alvin Kamara against Cleveland. Yeah, I still trust Alvin. He's going to get work. And then this is where my weak spot is. I'm going out with Mike Williams, who got 1 reception for a touchdown last week, but he's my only other active player this week. I don't have anybody that I would consider putting in. Michael Pittman says he might play football, but Anthony Richardson's his quarterback. Anthony Richardson can't throw the football. So that's a big no. Yeah. On the other side, I'm facing off against Kirk Cousins, DeAndre Swift, Chase Brown, Zay Flowers, Cooper Kupp, David Njoku, Drake London, Austin Eckler, and Josh Downs. I'm feeling confident about the Josh Downs pick because Anthony Richardson's now the quarterback. Not too worried about Josh Downs. Austin Eckler, maybe not a good thing for Austin Eckler because Brian Robinson was now activated and will be the starter again tomorrow night.
Yeah, if I was him, I'd almost. Well,
there's no one to swap out to.
Geno Smith might be a better quarterback option. But as for the rest of the team, you're right. There's nothing. Dowdle, maybe?
Maybe. I'm not giving him ideas. I'm not giving him ideas.
The backfield in Dallas is in such a disarray. Robinson.
He could play Higgins if Higgins decides to play football this week.
Why wouldn't you be playing Robinson?
He probably hasn't got the update yet.
Yeah, or Higgins, or...
Well, Higgins still isn't practicing.
Yeah, Higgins is still a maybe.
Right, so he has options if...
He does, but I don't think he's got enough to make up for 16 points.
So I'm going me.
I have to pick you.
Yeah, I love the love. Donnie also picked me. Gabriel also picked me. This is a really important match, mainly for a lot of people. If I need to get this win to help out everybody to make the playoffs. If I don't get this win, it just becomes harder for everybody.
Yeah.
So an important matchup to say the least. Next matchup we've got is Chervin versus Juan. And in this Chervin versus Juan matchup, Chervin is on a downward spiral. He hasn't logged in and updated his roster yet. Hopefully he does. But he's not playing Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's coming out. So he's probably going to put in either Tua against Las Vegas or Anthony Richardson against the Jets.
Probably Tua.
Okay, say Tua. Then he's got Tony Pollard, Saquon Barkley, DJ Moore. Malik Neighbors is coming out for somebody. Kyle Pitts is tight end. Alexander Madison. Bucky Irving's coming out. So he is in trouble. He needs a wide receiver and he needs a flex play. So who does he got? He's got Juwan Jennings. There's his wide receiver. And Jamison Williams as a flex.
So he's getting it close. And what's on the other side here? We got Hurts, Henry, Goodson, Dell, Adams, who's questionable, Ferguson, Myers,
Alec Pierce and
Waddle, who seems to be getting more yards than Tua or than Hill right now. What does he have that would to swap out?
not much.
No.
Like, to me, it's the running back situation. Tyler Goodson.
Yeah, he doesn't even really have anything to swap out with that. Um, this is going to be a close. This is going to be a close matchup. If Shervin gets in there and gets those three guys in, that could bump him up to about 90 points. So it's going to be like a 90, 94 to 94 um, uh,
Ooh.
projection. I still got to go one on this one.
You're going to go Juan on this one?
Here's one. One. Look at my trade.
Yeah, I called them
Help
both out. Guys, you
you.
need to come back to us. Chervin, Juan, come back to us. Set your rosters. Check your DMs.
Yeah.
Not all trade offers are for this league, though. Okay, so interesting enough, everybody is going Juan. I'm gonna follow suit here. I do think Juan has the stronger team. Matchup 3, we've got Donnie versus Slick. An important matchup for myself because I need Donnie to get this win. And they're currently projected to be very tightly matched. So Donnie is rocking Matt Stafford against New England. Brees Hall, Bijan Robinson, Puka Nakua, Nico Collins coming back from injury, Evan Ingram. Not sure I trust the Evan Ingram with Mac Jones as the QB, but that's is what it is. And then he's got Khalil Shakir, Cedric Tillman, and Brian Thomas.
He's got his
Nope.
best lineup.
That's always been Donnie's struggle this year. Is he has a solid lineup, but no real flex or alternative options. Yeah. Okay. And then Slick on the other side, who's had great depth all year long. He's going Brock Purdy, Kareem Hunt, Kyron Williams, Terry McLaurin, CeeDee Lamb, Dallas Goedert, Ladd McConkey, Najee Harris, Jaden Reed. So looking good. Looking really
The one
good.
that scares me is CeeDee Lamb. Again, Dallas, it just seems to be imploding. And I wonder if CeeDee Lamb is going to implode with the rest of it. He's getting pissed off with everybody. And I think it's just a bad situation altogether there. I don't think he gets as many points as he thinks he's going to get this week. But I don't see anybody. Mooney, but he's not going to hit double digits.
Not Keenan Allen.
No.
Kate Otten's on the bye.
I'm actually going Donnie this week.
Really?
With an upset.
You know
Because
what's funny?
I think Hunt is going to have a tough time with Buffalo. And now that Pacheco's going to start practicing, now
He's
he's got
got
to
2
look at his
weeks.
rearview mirror. I don't know, but he's got to look at his rearview mirror. I don't like Lamb, even though it's Houston. I don't like
But it's still
Lamb.
Cooper Rush or Trey Lance. Like
Exactly. McConkey might have a decent game, but you got Najee Harris, who's up or down. Again, Baltimore is a good, solid defense, so Harris might not have a great game. Reed is a big surprise that, you know, he could ball out against Chicago, but
They've been real stingy. That defense has been real stingy to
yes,
quarterbacks. So I don't know how well he will do versus the tight end and the running back. So that's a
it's
tough
just
part.
for me, it seems like Green Bay is doing better with their wide receivers than they are with their running backs this year, which in the last couple of years has been the other way
The
around.
other way around.
The running
Yeah.
backs have been good, and the wide receivers have been a little bit questionable.
Okay.
But
So
yeah, I think Donnie will
you're
have.
going Donnie. Okay. So here's the landscape, folks. You're going Donnie. Donnie went Donnie. Gabriel, aka Little Baby Sheep Man, went Donnie. I'm also going Donnie for two reasons. One, I don't want to separate myself in point scores from you guys too much. And two, I got to root for Donnie on this one because I need that. I need that equalizer. I got to beat Josh. Donnie's going to beat Slick, and then we're going to be tied. And I got the point differential.
Okay.
Okay, matchup number 4. Here we go. This is Bryce versus Marvin. I think this is on paper looking to be a sweet, sweet matchup. Bryce is the highest projected team in the league right now with 117 points. Even though he's sitting at 4-6, he's had a decent team. Here's what he's rocking. He's got Josh Allen going against KC. Should be a shootout. He's got Aaron Jones, Devon Achane, George Pickens, Devontae Smith, George Kittle, Calvin Ridley, James Cook, Deebo Samuel. Solid lineup. It looks good on paper. The matchups aren't that bad either. He's got Nick Chubb sitting in the wings for an alternate flex play, and that's Jordan Addison. You're still hanging on to Kadarius Toney, man. You gotta let that guy go. You just gotta let him
He's
go.
waiting for the comeback.
Just wait for the comeback. Yeah.
He's waiting for an award. Who had the craziest guy still on his bench?
Hey, didn't somebody just drop? It's Peeps just dropped Michael Thomas
Yes,
in No Fun. Ridiculous. Okay, so Bryce has got a good lineup this week,
yes.
but he is
I
facing Joe Burrow, Jonathan
my
Taylor, Josh Jacobs, Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, Mark Andrews, DK Metcalf, J.K. Dobbins. Yeah, well, he's busted. And AJ Amon St. Brown. I'm just telling you right now, they're not going to need to pass. So don't play Amon St. Brown.
yeah, this is gonna be a close matchup. Um, if I was Bryce, I would almost pull out Ridley
No.
and put in Chubb.
I actually think Ridley's a good play because the only weakness Minnesota has is their secondary. They have a solid run defense,
But the
and
thing
they're going to
is,
put
like,
pressure
are
on
they going to
Tennessee.
are they going to get to that young Tennessee quarterback five
Yeah,
or six or
they're gonna
seven or eight or nine times? Because he's
yes,
not going to be able to throw it.
but he's gonna have to throw it. He's gonna have to throw it deep, and the only guy that can catch that ball deep is Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I'm not that confident.
Okay, it's not a
That would be
confidence
the
play.
but for
It's a
both
high
teams.
risk, high reward play.
For both teams, that would be the only change I would look at making.
Tough.
And you know what? I'm going to go Bryce.
Really? I'm rooting for you, man. I'm gonna go Marvin on this one. I'm gonna take the high odds.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
I will be
I
happy
think
if I'm
Achan.
wrong, because if
I
I'm
think
wrong,
Achan is going to walk all over Vegas.
yeah.
Jones is going to walk all over Tennessee.
Okay, no, I disagree with that. Tennessee has had a pretty decent run defense. That's the only thing that keeps this team alive. Will Levis is coughing up the ball, and their offense is like putrid, but Tennessee's defense is decent.
Kittle has just been lighting it up.
But yeah, Kittle's awesome. Eh, eh, he's okay.
Cook against against Kansas City
They're going to need
has
him against Kansas City.
exactly. Their Kansas City's run
Okay.
defense is suspect, and then you get Debo against San Francisco. I just I think you said it earlier. He's the highest projected at 117, but I'll bet
Uh-huh.
you he is 140.
Well, if he hits 140, that's fantastic. That should be a winning week. in just about any format. All right, now let's get to the matchup number 5.
Why do we have to talk about this one? This is gonna be a
Well, because you're
blowout.
facing little baby sheep, man. You want to get a win. This is your chance, man. You got to
No,
dig deep somehow. While you still have your assets you haven't sold, right? It's not like you're trying to sell Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce. They're all in the trading block, folks. But until they sell, you're going Patrick Mahomes. You're doing Audric Estime, who is now the starting running back for the
yes,
Denver Broncos. You have Justice Hill, who's the backup running back, but gets in there, gets some work done. Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Hopkins, Travis Kelce. Probably going to get a lot of work from those guys because they're all going against Buffalo, who should not roll over. You
no,
are
it
playing
won't be.
Naomi Brown, which I think Noah Brown. Bold move,
But
very
he's the
bold.
second. He's the second wide receiver on Washington. I'm surprised he's not getting more targets. Like, how are you the number two guy and you're not getting targets?
Because they funnel everything through Terry McLaurin, Zach Ertz, and Brian Robinson.
Like, it's a
Okay.
frustrating.
All right. And then you're rocking out Christian Watson and Ray McLeod. Knowing your roster, you don't have anybody. Hey, you're not going to go Devon Vele?
I've been thinking about it because he's been hot lately,
He
and
has
same
been.
thing with I can never say the guy's name right.
Cedric
I
Wilson?
no, I will Leva shop in Cincinnati.
Yoshivas?
Yeah, Yoshi Voss. How is that Yoshi Voss? It's not a Y.
It's not a J either, but it's still Andre Yoshivas.
I know, I know. Um, those are the only two guys that really have been getting any more love
I'd
than I
rather go
think that
Noah
they're trying.
Brown than Yoshivas right now because they seem to being the third target on the team isn't that great.
Yeah,
And Raymond McLeod can hit that big bomb touchdown if he gets hit once.
yeah. Um, really the one guy I might throw in there is Bailey, and then it would be a toss up between Brown and McLeod as to who I pulled out. But I've got my best team in right now.
You do. And you're facing an uphill battle. You got Lamar Jackson, Kenneth Walker, Joe Mixon, Elijah Moore, Rashad Bateman. Those are 2 weak points on that roster right now. Brock Bowers, Jamar Chase, Quentin Johnson, and Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's doing you dirty by putting the best players in the flex spots.
Yeah,
But he doesn't really have anybody else to turn to this week. Romeo
no,
Dobbs, maybe, but everyone else, Amari Cooper's injured. Yeah. Yeah. So, man, it's not looking good.
yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. And I think of all my weeks that I've got left, that maybe I could get a win
Mm-hmm.
is if like if Pittsburgh shuts down Jackson and Dallas shuts down Mixon and
Actually, I think you have your best shot at winning next week. Next week is the bye apocalypse. There are 6 teams on bye week. You're facing Marvin. Marvin is 8-2. Pretty much his entire team is on bye.
great. Well,
So
maybe I can get
you're going to have a
2 weeks out of it.
shot at taking down the most winningest team in our league just because your team is not on bye and his team is.
So really, this week, let me just see here. So this and next week I could take down 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's how you got to look at it, man. You take down 1, 2, play upset.
Okay, I'm not taking little baby sheep, man. I'm taking me.
All right, there we go.
Stuff it to all you guys. I'm going 5-0.
I'm here for that, man. I am here for that. Let's do it. All
And the
right.
rest
Well,
of
that
you are
takes.
going to go 3-2.
Hey, I will gladly take my 1 win here. I only want to be right twice. Mike and Donnie. Those are the only 2 ones I must get correct. Those are the ones I'm rooting for. Now it's time to talk about a bet. Come on, come on.
Fucking
All
field
right.
goal.
This is where we, Andrew and I, settle up and place bets for this week. Last week, Andrew picked a rather interesting differential goal scorer type of bet. We picked matchups. You tried to guess the score total, and then whatever the actual was, plus or minus, you'd compilate your results. What I found extremely interesting, regardless of what the results were, is I underbid. I overbid practically every game, and you underbid. every game. Like that's just an interesting data set. When we're looking at the numbers, I said, hey, you know what? I said Tennessee and Los Angeles were going to be 35. They went 42. Atlanta, 42. They went 37. Minnesota and Jacksonville, I said 42. They went 19. Philadelphia, I said 42. They went 40. So it's just really neat having that lineup. And on you on the other side, I ended up at minus 19. You ended up with plus 22. So a really close matchup in the end. It was extremely fair. So kudos to you for coming up with a really creative yet effective bet. I did win. That does put me at 6-4 in the season, and you got to come up with a new bet,
You
which you
won
did.
because of that stupid field goal at the end of the game.
Yes, I did.
God damn
Go
it.
Lions.
No, not that field goal.
Oh, which one?
In the Monday night game. I don't
That
even
3
remember what
points.
I don't even remember what I had said if we had tied.
No, you've said if we tied, if we somehow ended up in a tie, it was a wash.
Oh yeah, it was a wash. But
Right?
it
We'd end up.
was yeah. But it was with less than 2 minutes left in the game, we were tied. It was a stupid field goal at the end that, hey, let's not go for the touchdown first. Let's get the field goal and then kick an onside kick. Losers. Sorry.
It's okay, man. Football, it's a passion sport. We're showing it. So tell us about this week.
This week I got to get back on the defense. So there are 28 teams playing this week. We each are going to pick 6 defenses. And we're going to use sleepers scoring for defenses.
Okay.
And whoever has the most points off their defenses is the winner.
So we need sacks, low scoring, interceptions, and pick sixes.
Yes. Or block kicks. Did you do your research?
Not really.
Okay. You're winging it.
Not really. Yeah, I'm not doing so great. All right, let's have a look here. I think I found something that is helpful. How does this work? That makes no sense. I don't know how to read that chart. I gotta find something.
I went through all the teams and looked at their projected points.
Oh, the defense is projected points?
Yeah. Nobody's double digits, by the way.
Yeah, I think getting double digits for a defense is not a predictive.
No. I mean, the only way you get that is if, like, you were playing against the Rams last weekend, or the Lions, who got 5 picks. But so I get to start.
This website crashed.
I'm actually going to take the Lions.
Oh man, come on! That's who I wanted.
Because they're playing the crappy Jags.
Yeah, they're playing the crappy Jags.
I mean, you could take the Jags if you wanted to.
Heck no! Are you? Don't be ridiculous. They're going to get a mud hole stomped in them. Okay, and 2 of the best teams to pick on would be Carolina and the Giants, but they're not playing this week.
Correct.
So I'll pick on. I'm going to pick the Dolphins.
Ooh, nice pick.
Dolphins.
Going against the Raiders. Okay. My next pick is because the Patriots are going back to Mac Jones. I'm taking the Rams.
You got your teams mixed up. Mac Jones plays for the Jags. That's why you picked Detroit.
Oh, sorry. Who the hell's the Patriots quarterback then?
Drake May.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
the Rams are still expected to get 8.3.
You think so?
That's what's the projection.
I got them at 4.5.
On what website?
The Score. Rams by 4.5.
I'm looking.
Okay. I'm not looking at fantasy points. I'm looking at like team implied total of.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you have a good pick with the Dolphins. They're projected to get 8.4.
Yeah, Dolphins. You know what my pick is going to be? The Packers over the Bears.
Yes, that's another good one. They're supposed to get 8.6.
Yeah, I like the Packers defense. It's a solid defense, and Chicago's just hurting.
I will be taking the Vikings.
Sticking around in the NFC North, I see.
Well, considering they're both playing crappy teams. The Vikings play the Titans, so.
Matchup's not good. Really? There are some odd matchups not good. Yeah, it's like where you could pick. I'll give you an example. I'm looking at the Cleveland Browns and the New Orleans Saints. You could pick either defense.
Well, one is projected to get 7.03, the other is projected to get 7.11.
Well, they both have decent defenses against crappy offenses.
Yes,
Kansas City's got a good defense, but I don't think they can stop the Bills. I think the Bills are going to score.
correct.
Darn you defenses that are just sitting on bye. Houston. Oh, there we go. Jeez, staring me right in the face. Houston against Cooper Rush. I'll take that.
Dang it. I was hoping he'd slide and I could grab him on my last pick. Okay. Now down into that. I don't want to have to pick them. I'll take the Eagles.
Oh, that's a good one. Well, I'm going to take the Jets.
Damn it, Mike.
What? We got to pick a lot of teams here, man. I got to go for at least a team that has a chance of scoring points.
Yes.
I'm targeting teams that have the opposition have no quarterback.
Just because they're a solid defense, or they in the past they've been a solid defense, I'm taking a chance on the Broncos.
Well, that's not a bad choice.
My worry is that Atlanta could put up lots of points.
I think they will, but
with that could come interceptions and fumbles.
Yeah. You know who I'm going to take? I'm going to take a team that is facing a quarterback that loves to throw interceptions. That is like his calling card, the reason why he lost his starting job and is sitting as a backup. I'm going to pick the Saints because they should just eat up all of the targets from Jameis Winston.
I could take some ribbing for this, but they have been giving up. What's the total? Do you still have the score open? What's the total points for Chiefs Bills? What's the over under on that?
Bills by -2.
No, what's the over under?
45.5.
45.5. And what's the over under on the Seahawks 49?
Seahawks 49ers 47.5. 49ers by 6.5.
Yeah, I'll take the 49ers.
49ers. That was going to be my choice. But that Buffalo defense, man, they've had a good year.
And Mahomes has put up a lot of picks. That's why I almost took Buffalo. But you could also take
Chargers. Chargers are doing okay.
Chargers,
But
yes.
they're against Cincy, though.
Or you could go Steelers over the Ravens if they could shut.
I don't know about that. That would be.
That's a big risk.
That is a big risk. Yeah. To me, it's either Chargers or the Bills.
Either one of them has got good possibilities. And if it was me,
yeah.
And the only reason I say it was I would go Chargers over the Bills because Mahomes isn't throwing the deep ball as much this year as opposed to Burrow, who's liking to air it out. And you could get some safeties coming over for some picks. But again, Mahomes has put up more picks this year than.
I'm going wild Bills.
All right.
I'm going to do it. They're going to shut down the Chiefs and hand them their first loss.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
It's going to be
It's happening.
It's going to be another slaughter like it was last time.
Sure. The Chiefs could barely beat, anybody this year.
17-0. And
all
then
right.
20. And then make it 20-0.
Okay. Delusions of grandeur.
It's all coming up, Chief.
Yep. All coming up, Chiefs. You drink the Kool-Aid enough.
That's right.
You will see nothing but Chiefs. And with that, we're going to call it a week, folks. That's it. That's the end of the show. We're wrapping it up. We're going home, going to bed. So thank you very much for listening. You can find us on all our social media platforms. That would be Twitter, now known as X, TikTok, Facebook, Poor Man Football, all one word. You can even see our lovely faces on YouTube if you decide to go there. Come back next week. It'll be week 12. We're going to be doing another review. Let's see how we did. Is the playoff hunt still alive for some of us? Is it getting anxiously even closer? Find out next week. Until then, from one poor man to another, if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. Good night, everybody.
Have a great week, everybody.